This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, good afternoon, team. So now we are going to continue our class. So, guys, in the last class, we have discussed about few topics from the data warehouse. Okay, now today we are going to continue with the next. So today will be the last class for the data warehouse, and then from tomorrow we are going to start with the practical. Okay. So, guys, in the last class we have discussed about data warehouse, and the last topic we had covered OLTP versus OLAP. Now today we are going to continue with the next one. So next topic is data modeling. Okay. So guys, what do you mean by data modeling? So data modeling is nothing. It is a process of designing a database with a set of table is called data modeling. It means in one line you can say data modeling is nothing. It is just a database. It is just a database with a set of tables. Okay. And in the data warehouse, there are two types of schema will be used: star schema and snowflake schema. And these all schema will contain tables only. Okay, so here one interview question is there, that as a ETL tester, which schema you are using and why? So what you guys have to say? You have to say we are using star schema. Okay, and why you are using the star schema? Because it completely depends upon the business requirement. Okay, as a ETL tester, we cannot take the decision whether we have to use the star schema or snowflake schema. It completely depends upon the business requirement. But working point of view, guys, doesn't matter whether it is a star schema or doesn't matter whether it is a snowflake schema. Working procedure will be same for the ETL tester. Okay, then it is a headache for whom and who is responsible for designing this schema. We are working on the star schema, that is fine, but who is designing the star schema? Have you ever designed the star schema? Then what you have to say? You have to say no. Database architecture, database architecture or data modeler, they are responsible for designing the data warehouse schemas. Okay, so we are using the schema. We are using the star schema. Designing part will be the responsibility of database architecture or data modular. Okay, and working point of view, guys, it will be same. Doesn't matter. As a ETL tester, we are using the star schema, or doesn't matter whether we are using the snowflake schema. Working procedure for us, it will be same. Okay, consider one day-to-day example. Imagine that if anyone will ask from you, okay, that how you are communicating with Vinay, or how you are communicating with the Isha Institute, then what you will say? You will say through WhatsApp. Correct. Imagine that if they will say you are using the WhatsApp, that is fine, but can you communicate them with the Telegram? What you can say? You can say yes, because doesn't matter whether you are using WhatsApp or doesn't matter whether you are using Telegram. Sending process hi. Like imagine that you want to type hi. So typing procedure and sending in the WhatsApp also, in the Telegram also, it is same to same. What you have to do? You have to simply open the WhatsApp, just type hi and click on send. On the same manner, in the Telegram also, just open the Telegram, just type hi and click on send. Correct. So message will be sent on the same. So here what you have done, doesn't matter whether you used the WhatsApp or doesn't matter whether you have used the Telegram. Sending message hi procedure is same only, on the same manner over here also. Okay, doesn't matter you are in your project the star schema is getting used or snowflake schema is getting used, the working procedure will be same only for us. Okay, so then it is a headache for whom? Designing the star schema or snowflake schema. So designing the star schema will be, or snowflake will schema will be the responsibility of architecture or modular. Correct. On the same manner, you are sending the message through hi. If the client or anyone will ask from you that you are communicating with Isha Institute by using WhatsApp, that is fine. Have you ever designed the WhatsApp? Then what you will say? No, I didn't design the WhatsApp. I am using WhatsApp. On the same manner over here also, you are using the star schema. You didn't design. Designing part will be the responsibility of database architecture or data modular? This is very important topic, guys. Okay, now, so here the question arises: what is data modeling? In your project, which schema has been used? Have you ever used, sorry, have you ever designed the star schema or snowflake schema? If not, then who is responsible for the designing part? Okay, who is responsible for the designing part? Why you are using the star schema? Why you are not using the snowflake schema? Another question: you are working currently on the star schema, that is fine. But if you will get a chance to work on the snowflake schema, can you perform the task? So for these questions, anyone have any doubt, guys? Anyone? Okay, silence means no question. Then we will jump for the next. So here now the interviewer will ask one question, that just now you had confirmed that you are using star schema. That is fine. Can you please confirm what is a star schema? Then what you have to say? So for that, just observe the below image. Here you can see. This is a star schema. Just observe the below image. So what is a star schema? So star schema will have centrally located one fact table. It will have centrally located one fact table which will be surrounded by multiple dimension table. Okay, which will be surrounded by multiple dimension table. And this arrow line indicates that there is a relation between the fact table and dimension table. If there is no arrow line, it means there is no relation. Okay, now, so here how they are related? So guys, they are related based on the primary key and foreign key relation. What is primary key and foreign key? That too we will discuss. Okay, so this is, and the structure of this schema look like a star. So that's why it is called as star schema. Again, I will do a small recap. So what is a star schema? So star schema will have centrally located one fact table which will be surrounded by multiple dimension table, and these all dimension table will be attached to the fact table. Okay, the arrow line indicates that there is a relation between fact table and dimension table. If there is no arrow line, it means there is no relation between them. So here fact table will contain foreign key and dimension table will contain primary key. How you can remember? So guys, you can just remember like FF, fact table, foreign key. WhatsApp DP, dimension table, primary key. Okay, like that you can remember. And the structure of this schema look like a star. So that's why it is called as star schema. Okay, now anyone, any question, guys? Anyone? Okay, this is very important topic, guys, for your interview point of view. Now, so that is fine. Silence means no question. Then now we are going for the next point. So next topic is snowflake schema. So what is a snowflake schema? So for that, just observe the below image first. So here you can see half of the image from the left side. Half of the image from the left side doesn't seem that it look like star schema only. Correct. So what is a snowflake schema? So snowflake schema is nothing. It is just an extension of the star schema. Snowflake schema is nothing. It is just a extension of the star schema. It will have centrally located one fact table which will be surrounded by multiple dimension table, and these all dimension table will be attached to the another dimension table. Okay, these all dimension table will be attached to the another dimension table. On the same manner, fact table will contain foreign key, dimension table will contain primary key, and here it is extension, so it may contain foreign key also. Okay, so what is the snowflake schema? So snowflake schema is nothing. It is just an extension of the star schema. It will have centrally located one fact table surrounded by multiple dimension table. These all dimension table will be attached to the fact table. The arrow line indicates that there is a relation between the table. If there is no arrow line, it means there is no relation. You can see that here in this table and this table there is no direct arrow line. It means there is no relation between these two tables. If we want to relate the table, then we have to follow this path. Okay. Now anyone, any question, guys? Anyone have any question? Pratmesh, Prangya, Piyos, Dinesh, Divya, Anjali. Okay. Silence means no question. Then now, guys, here one interview question is there. In the interview, they will ask, is it mandatory that in the Snowflake schema we will have only one fact table, or in the star schema we will have only one fact table? Currently, I am using, and in my project in the Snowflake, I am using the Snowflake schema, and in that Snowflake schema, I have two fact tables. So how come it is possible? Then what you have to say, how you have to justify your answer? So you have to say, no, Snowflake schema, it is mandatory that it will contain only one fact table. If there is more than one fact table, more than one means what? One here and one beside over here. If there is more than one fact table, then it will be called as complex Snowflake schema. On the same manner, guys, if we have in the star schema, it is mandatory that it will have one fact table only. Okay, if there is more than one fact table, imagine one fact table over here, another fact table over here. If there is more than one fact table, then in the technical language, it will be called as complex star schema. Okay. Now anyone, any question? Okay. Silence means no question. Then, since long time, guys, we are discussing about the fact table and dimension table. So what is a fact table? What is a fact table? So every one of you just observe the below table first. Okay, below image. Here you can see I have few columns: ID, contact number, pin code. ID is mentioned 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. Contact number, random contact number is mentioned. Then pin code, some random pin code is mentioned. That is fine. But what is a fact table? Then what exactly you have to say? So you have to say fact table is nothing. It is a centrally located table which will be available either in the star schema or Snowflake schema. Fact table, it is a centrally located table which will be available either in the star schema or Snowflake schema. It will contain foreign key and it will contain only numerical value. Apart from numerical value, it will not contain any data. Okay, it is mandatory that the fact table will contain only numerical value. Okay, now, so anyone, any question? Okay, silence means no question. Then I have a question, guys, for every one of you. So imagine that I have one table. It contains few columns. And imagine that 10,000 record is there. Out of 10,000 record, 9,999 record is a numerical value and one record is a character value. So what you guys feel? It is a fact table? Yes or no? What you guys feel? Unmute yourself, guys. Again, I will repeat the question. I have one table. In that table, 10,000 record is there. 9,999 record is a numerical value. One record is a character value. So, is it a fact table? Yes or no? Anya, can you please unmute yourself? Or Piyush? Anyone? Okay, so guys, it is not a fact table. Okay, it is not a fact table because just now I had confirmed The fact table, it is mandatory that it will only contain numerical value. Apart from numerical value, it will not contain any data. Okay. Now, the next point is dimension table. So, what is a dimension? What is a dimension table? What is a dimension table? So, dimension table is nothing. Wait. So, dimension table is nothing. So, just observe the below image over here. Okay. So, here you can see I have some data like ID KAT101, KAT1002, KAT1003, and so on. Some email ID is also mentioned. Some email ID is there, and some pin code is mentioned. Okay, so what is a dimension table? So dimension table is saying dimension table will also be available either in the star schema or snowflake schema. Okay, it will contain primary key and optional foreign key, and it can contain any type of data. Any type of data. It means what? It may contain alphanumeric data. You can see KAT1001. It is called technically alphanumeric value. It may contain some special character also, like at the rate dot is there. Okay, so it may contain special character also. It may contain numerical value also. It may contain decimal value also. It may contain date value also. In one line you can say dimension table can contain any type of data. Dimension table can contain any type of data. Okay, now anyone, any question? Now, anyone, any question? Okay, then I have one question. Try to unmute yourself. I know it is a very tough task how to unmute, but try to unmute. So I have one question. 5 minutes back, I had asked one question. The question was, I have 10,000 record. Out of 10,000 record, 9,999 record is a numerical value. One record is a character value. So what you guys feel? It is a fact table or a dimension table?
It is a dimension table, you know,
Yes, exactly. It is a dimension table. Why it is a dimension table? Because it contains
because it
some
mixed data.
character.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct. It contains some character value also. So that's why. Okay. Now, so here one thing I will say to every one of you: please don't take in a different direction. You guys are going to be IT people. Okay, and in that, be vocal, be vocal, and be demanding. Doesn't matter, because I know that everyone is very fresher and we feel hesitation while talking. But doesn't matter whether you give correct answer, doesn't matter whether you give wrong answer in both the scenario, but try to speak up, because the more you will speak up, you will get more clarity. Okay, I know the answer. Imagine that the moment I'm asking the question, it is a fact table or dimension table. So you know the answer, but you are in mute. Okay, why? Due to hesitation. Happens. As a human being, it happens, but try to avoid that one. Okay, because in the IT, you have to be vocal and be demanding. Otherwise, your credit someone else, your team lead will take. Okay, you will do the work, your team lead will take the credit. Okay, no problem. So dimension table. Now, anyone, any question, guys? Final call. Okay. Then the next topic. Next topic is, so what is the normalization? So normalization is nothing. It is a process of removing redundancy from the table is called normalization. Redundancy means what? Means unwanted value, duplicate value. Okay. So in the another language, you can say the process of removing duplicate values from the table is called normalization. Or you can say the process of removing unwanted values from the table is called normalization. Okay. And another definition for the normalization is normalization is nothing. It is a process of organizing attributes and tables of relational database to minimize the data redundancy. And normalization involves decomposing a table into a less redundant and smaller, but without losing any information. That is also called as normalization. Okay, so what does it mean? So now, for better understanding, let me open one blank Excel file. Imagine that I have one table, okay, and it contains ID, name, location, email, phone number, okay, PAN card, Aadhaar card, blood group, okay, pin code, city, country, okay, like that it is there. So imagine that I have 10 columns with 10,000 records. Consider example, I have one table which contains 10 columns and 10,000 records are there. So that is fine. So 10 columns with 10,000 records, guys, it is a very bigger table. Correct. It is a very bigger table. And if I want to retrieve any data from this, it will take a longer time to retrieve. Correct. In the last class, we have discussed during OLTP and OLAP that if my table size is bigger, then it will take a longer time to respond. And if my table size is small, then it will respond faster. Okay. So this 10,000 records I have and 10 columns have there. So it is a very bigger table. So it will take a longer time to respond. So what I will do, so imagine that I will break this table. Okay, break the table in two different table or three different table, no problem. So consider example, I will break it in two different table. Okay, so few columns in one table randomly I'm picking and few columns in the another table. So what I have done, I had very bigger table this one. Okay, I had very bigger table this one. So this table I have broken into a different table, maybe two table, three table, four table, you can do, no issue. So what is called normalization? So normalization is nothing, the process of breaking a bigger table, the process of breaking a bigger table into a smaller table but without losing any information is called normalization. The process of breaking bigger table into a smaller table, breaking means column wise like this, not like this. Imagine that if I will do the breakage like 5,000 record in one table and below 5,000 in the another table, then that will not be called as normalization. Column wise you have to break it. Okay, so the process of breaking a bigger table into a smaller table is called normalization. But while breaking a table, we have to make sure that none of the data should be missed. Okay, imagine that in the ID I have 10,000 record. That doesn't mean the new table which I have broken, so it should contain 900 record only. No, it will be wrong. Okay, so the process of breaking a bigger table into a smaller table is called normalization. While breaking it, we have to make sure that none of the data should be missed and we should have at least one common column should be there among the new table. So what is the new column? So ID is here. So imagine that I will consider ID as a very common column in both the tables. Okay, so that is fine. So we should have at least one common column should be there. So ID is a very new common column, so it will work perfectly. So here I have one question. Why I have taken ID column as a very common column? Why I have not taken any another different column? So is there any limitation? No problem, guys. There is no limitation. Whichever column you want, you can consider as a very common column for both the table. whichever column you want from your bigger table. Whichever the column you want, you can consider it as a very common column for the new table. But you have to make sure that column should not contain any duplicate value. Okay, so generally ID, employee ID, it will not contain any duplicate, correct? So that's why here ID column I have considered as a very common column. Make sure the new column which you are considering as a very common column, it should not contain any duplicate value. Okay, so ID I have taken, that is fine. Can we consider name? Answer is no. We cannot consider name as a very common column. Why? Because in a single organization, there is a possibility that few people will have the same name. Location? No. Because there is a possibility that from a single location, multiple people will be there. Email? Anyone, any idea? Can we consider email as a very common column for the new table? Can we consider? Yes, no, no idea.
So yes,
Can
it
we?
can be considered.
Yes, exactly. We can consider the email
It's
as
unique
a very
for
common,
every record.
correct, because the email will never be duplicate. Can we consider phone number as a very common column?
Yes.
Probably. Yeah, probably yes also, probably no also. Why yes? Yes, because there is a everyone used to have a unique contact number, correct. So that's why we can consider. But the second drawback is maybe husband and wife both are working in the same organization, correct, and both of them may be using the same contact number. That is a possibility, correct. So we can avoid that one. Okay, pan card can be considered as a very common column for the new table. Pan card, husband and wife will not have the same pan card, guys. They cannot use. Can we consider the very common call as a very common column? Yes, no, no idea. Anjali, Devyani, Dinesh, Piyush,
Yes,
Prangya.
sir. Both PAN card and Aadhaar card can be used as ID.
Yes, we can consider. Okay, no problem. So that is fine. So that is the thing. So what is the normalization? So normalization is nothing. The process of breaking a bigger table into a smaller table is called normalization. But while breaking a table, we have to make sure that we should break it in a column wise and none of the data should be missed. We should have at least one common column should be there. It is mandatory and that column should not contain any duplicate value. Okay, that is called
Uh,
normalization.
Sir, I have a question. How does this breaking into two tables, improve the performance? Because number of records remain same.
Yeah, but number of columns are lesser. So here
So
table
is it
size will get decreased. Table size will get decreased.
is it like the scanning across the width of the table is reduced?
Yes, exactly. Okay, so that's right. Now, so, now, so that is normalization. So what is denormalization? What is denormalization? So denormalization is nothing, guys. Adding the data from multiple table, adding the data from multiple table to a single table is called denormalization. Normalization is breaking, and denormalization is nothing. Adding the data from multiple table to a single table is called denormalization. Okay. Now, anyone, any question for the normalization and denormalization? Okay, silence means no question. Now, the next point is surrogate key. Okay, next point is surrogate key. So, guys, what is a surrogate key? So, for better understanding, let me open one Excel file. Okay, imagine that I have one table. This table is in the database, guys. Okay, I will show you in the database how to create a table. So consider example, I have one table, I have created one table, and I have few columns like ID, name, and location. So why I have created the table? To insert some values. Correct. In the future, we will insert some values. So imagine that I have inserted one value. ID is 1, name Piyush, location Bangalore. Okay. So I have inserted one value in the table. So what is a surrogate key over here? So surrogate key is nothing. It is a auto-generated key. Surrogate key is nothing. It is a auto-generated key by the system. Whenever we use to insert any value in the table, automatically one surrogate key will be generated, where we will not have any control. Any control means we cannot alter the surrogate key. We cannot delete surrogate key. We cannot modify surrogate key. Why we cannot alter? Imagine that here some random surrogate key is getting generated, ASDG76549, like that. No, I don't like this surrogate key. I want that my surrogate key should be generated in some fancy number like ABCD1234 and so on. Is it possible? Answer is no. Why it is not possible? Because surrogate key is a auto-generated key by the system, and anything which is auto-generated by system, there we will not have any control. Okay. So what is a surrogate key? So surrogate key is nothing. Whenever we use to insert any value in the table, automatically one surrogate key will be generated. Again, if I will insert one more value like ID is 2, name is Tom, location UK. Okay, then again one surrogate key, guys, it will be generated, where we will not have any control. Our surrogate key will never be duplicate. Okay, even though if we have a duplicate value in the table, imagine that in a table I have duplicate value, then also we will have unique surrogate key. Okay, if so, what is a surrogate key? So surrogate key is nothing. It is an auto-generated key by the system. Whenever we use to insert any value in the table, automatically one surrogate key will be generated, where we will not have any control. We cannot alter surrogate key. We cannot modify surrogate key. We cannot delete surrogate key. Whenever we will insert new record, again new surrogate key will be generated. Even though if I have a duplicate value in the table, then also I will have unique surrogate key. Our surrogate key will never be blank. Imagine that I have one only ID 3, no name, no location. So for this surrogate key will be generated. Answer is yes, it will be generated. Okay, it will never be blank or null. Okay, now again I will do a small recap. So what is the surrogate key? So surrogate key is nothing. It is a auto-generated key by the system. Whenever we use to insert any value in the table, automatically one surrogate key will be generated. Even though if we have a duplicate value in the table, then also we will have unique surrogate key. Our surrogate key will never be blank. Even though if one record is there, maybe ID, maybe imagine that only name is there, then also surrogate key will be generated, guys. It will never be blank or null. Okay, and it will never be duplicate. Now anyone, any question? Okay, silence means no question. So guys, up to here we had the data warehouse topic, but if you will go with the syllabus, you will see few point is still pending. Like example, you can say ETL architecture, or here we can see we have covered the topic data warehouse, purpose, ETL, overview, data mart, and dimension table. Okay, fact table, OLEP, OLTP, data modeling, types, star schema, snowflake schema, normalization, denormalization, surrogate key. But still few topics are pending. Example, slowly changing dimension, uses of the SCD, then ETL architecture, So when these all topics will be covered? So guys, this topic will be covered under Informatica. Okay, this topic will be covered under Informatica because because to cover this topic, we should be aware about the Informatica tool. Okay, and that time we should not forget. So that's why over here also in the Informatica I have mentioned. You can see introduction of the slowly changing dimension, SRE type 1, type 2, type 3, and so on. Okay, so that is the thing. Now, so up to here we had the data warehouse topic, and tomorrow we are going to start with the practical. So you guys can contact the institute for the further process, and those who have already contacted, again you guys can contact for getting the software. Okay. Now, anyone, any question, final call? Okay, silence means no question. So again, we will connect tomorrow, guys, and tomorrow we are good to start with the practical. Thank you all.
Thanks, all.
आम्हाला परवा भेटला नव्हता.
Thank you.